Here we are at the Chamber of Commerce with the new CEO,
Yes.
Robert Heidt.
Yes.
Robert, from let's talk a little bit. You just came on board 3 days ago,
Correct.
and why don't you talk about your background in the chamber industry?
Sure. This year marks my 11th year in the chamber industry. I began my chamber role with the Las Vegas Chamber, heading up the Member Services and Community Relations Division. Spent about 7 years or so there, and from there had gone to the Austin Chamber of Commerce, where I headed up investor relations, membership, small business, and marketing.
Wow, Las Vegas.
Yep, Las Vegas.
You don't get much bigger of a Chamber of Commerce than probably Las Vegas.
Las Vegas is the third largest metropolitan chamber in the nation, while, as many of us know, Las Vegas is not the third largest city in the nation. So it's a very large chamber. At the peak, before some of the economic woes, had about 7,000 members. Right now they're, I think, in the 6,000-ish range or so, but it was a large chamber. You know, considering Vegas is not, you know, New York or Los Angeles or one of the large metropolitan areas. So
the two cities that you were before here were, I mean, vastly different to a small community, tight-knit community like Gloucester. I know you've only been here for a couple of days, but what do you see as a different role here as opposed to your roles in those other chambers? You
know, even though they're larger cities, there's a lot of similarities because in both communities, the backbone of the chamber is small business. A lot of people would say, oh, you came from Vegas, it was the large casinos and the large conglomerates. And truthfully, they were members, and they invested and contributed in many ways to the chamber. But, you know, like the makeup of most chambers of commerce, 80 to 85% of members tend to be those small companies, those entrepreneurs, those locally owned and independent operated businesses. So what I like about the Cape Ann area and the region here, I like that we serve 4 communities, and I think that's unique to our responsibility as the Cape Ann Chamber. And you've got a lot of those locally owned, independently operated businesses. And so I think with that, it really forces you to keep that personal touch, because you can become non-complacent in some ways when you have a big pool of companies to go from. That, oh, there's more fish in the sea, so to speak. So if we lose members, it's okay because there's more right behind them. When you have a smaller community or smaller pool, everything is an asset, and so you look at it a little differently, and you hold those things closer, and you look to forge those relationships and alliances. And when a ripple occurs or there's some sort of tension, you try to leverage the relationship that you have to keep that in place, and remember what the Chamber of Commerce is here to do, which is, you know, hopefully to provide a better economic climate for our business community, our tourism, you know, all of the different things that businesses want from a chamber. You try to keep that at the forefront of what we do each and every day.
There was a lengthy discovery process to find you. I mean, there was a lot of candidates, and they narrowed down a huge field for you. Now, and this is over a course of months. Correct. I mean, it wasn't just a 1 or 2 week search. So over that course of time, with you having your sights on Gloucester, probably did a little research on the area. What are some of the things that you're bringing to Cape Ann as ideas to bring value to chamber members?
You know, you're right. It was a very lengthy process. You know, I respect the folks that went through that process from the hiring committee, and then the folks here who had to keep the chamber afloat while that went on. I was very excited and honored to be selected of the candidates. I think they started out with 60+ applicants and then dwindled it down and, you know, worked themselves down until they got to the finalists and that sort of thing. So I was very excited and honored to be the one chosen to spearhead the chamber for the next you know, number of years to come. Things to bring forward, value to add. You know, there's some things that every chamber does and is expected. You know, they know that the chamber is going to have some events and some programs, but there's certainly a lot of things that we can look to add into the mix. I know there's the Health Coalition or the cooperative that's being worked through now that could provide health insurance to small businesses. That's a huge benefit. We had that at our chamber in Las Vegas, and I know that we're working through that right now.
Can I stop for
Sure.
1 second? I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
But is this the type of thing, because I know as a small business owner, I know like personally, it's $18,000 a year for my health insurance plan. You know, and I have a really solid plan and everything. But, you know, your chamber membership is X amount of dollars. You're talking about possibly providing for a small business a plan, because it's a group, that could potentially pay, the savings that you would get through that insurance policy could potentially pay more than what your actual dues could be.
Absolutely.
So that's a value proposition.
Absolutely. You know, I think what members are looking for, they want ROI. They want some return on their investment. And there's going to be, it's always subjective, because there's things that the chamber is expected to do. You know, we're going to serve visitors that come in, we're going to answer questions, we're going to answer the phones and that sort of thing, and they expect. And sometimes members forget that that's some value there, and they forget to place a little bit of value upon us answering hundreds of phone calls in a given week or month, or answering lots of questions from visitors coming in and directing them to our member businesses. But really, there are a number of programs out there that chambers can look to do to provide more value or show that return on investment right away. And the health insurance is one of them. Most chambers that offer something like that, the savings that a small business does receive more than pays for their chamber membership. So when they're looking at the end of the year and saying, okay, my chamber membership is X number of dollars, it factors into the equation, well, I've saved a significant amount on my health insurance. That more than pays for my chamber membership. And there's a lot of other programs.
That's a no-brainer.
No, absolutely.
Right? I mean, bottom line, there's a no-brainer.
No-brainer for business, you know. And the health insurance won't be the answer for every single person. You know, I don't have all the specifics just yet to be able to speak to them. You know, I'm trying to dive through and read through some of the stuff that we have now. But certainly, you know, it'll be an answer for a lot of them, and it'll be a way that business can provide insurance that may not to their employees as another benefit. So, you know, my goal is to look at other type of programs that are out there in the marketplace that chambers are a part of, that are proven and sound, bring them to our board. With, you know, to go through an evaluation process to see if it's a right fit for our chamber and our community, and if so, then they'll make the decision and vote it in, and if it's not, then no harm, no foul. But we've got to look at things that are out there. There's group office buying things that, you know, again, that provides instant return. There's different you know, bid processes, so, you know, where you can go online and submit bids, and it only goes out to member businesses to be able to, you know, say you want to get a new roof put on, or you want whatever. There's other kind of affinity programs where you can partner in, and a member can go in and say, I'm looking to have this done. It goes only to those members in that category. They can then bid back on it, and it connects them right away. So, I mean, there's a number of value add that we can look to bring on. But then just some general things that we need to do. I think, and I've said this before, we have to put a member-first approach in place. We are a member-based organization, and so everything that we do is for our members and, you know, for the people that we serve. And so that's something that the culture here at this office has to become, you know, that I might be in the middle of paperwork, I might be in the middle of trying to get some reports done, but if a member walks in with a concern or care, or someone calls me on the telephone, I need to be able to put a pause on what I'm doing and take care of their need or their want at that moment, as well as everyone else in our office. And so we're going to get to that point where, you know, members feel that they're put first. Because I think that's important. They invest into this organization, they contribute, they're a part of this chamber, it's their chamber. So there's going to be a lot of little subtleties that I think people will see in the weeks and months to come, that they'll say, wow, it's a new day down at that chamber. And maybe some of those folks that we've lost over the years will take a second look and say, hey, something positive is going on down there, and we might need to get back into the fold. And I hope that we're able to bring some members back and keep the ones that are here retained with us.
There you go. Well, I think a lot of it, you know, at this point, you know, because the economy is so tough and everybody's looking at the bottom line, the ROI, the return on investment, is key, you know, and providing value to these folks. So are there any, when you came in, and I know you've had a very limited time, 3 days is very, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. What are some of the strengths you see from that this office provides, and what are some of the weaknesses that you hope to improve upon?
One of the things I will say, the greatest strength I can tell you without a doubt is the commitment of the people that I've come in contact with so far, their commitment to the community, and specifically this chamber, and the success of this chamber is amazing. When I first started and expressed interest and spoke with Sal initially, all the way through coming to interview, meeting the hiring committee, meeting the staff, they had a reception for members coming out. I mean, that warm welcome and reception, it was genuine. It wasn't superficial. You knew that the people who were coming out and involved in the process genuinely cared about where we were at and where we were going. And so to me, that show of support from when I first expressed interest to now that I'm here and I'm on the ground, and it continues, and whether my phone rings and I get emails of welcome, what can I do, even some of them saying, hey, I know you're only here this week, but if there's ever anything to do, please give me a call. I mean, that showing of support, I think that's great, because without that, we can't do anything without our volunteers and our members. So that, I think, just stands out among the top to me. Some of the weaknesses, it's hard for me to kind of define the weaknesses that we have. I just think there's probably some breakdown in our communication of how we're communicating outbound to our members and our constituents. So really, I would say we've got some inefficiencies in place here within the office that we're going to look to hopefully streamline. And again, once the house is in order here in the office, we will then be able to make a big difference as it relates to our services and benefits we provide. And I think it'll just become very natural and transparent. I think getting the chamber a physically sound position is very, very important to me. Making sure that we're able to provide the services, that we have the right staff in place to do what we need to do. I'm sure there's probably other things out there. I've heard different folks say, hey, we need to improve this event, this one went away, we need to bring that one back. And all that I'm going to learn. I'm, as I said, I'm a sponge right now. I am soaking it all in. I am listening. I am all ears. I want to hear everyone's thoughts, opinions, whether it's good, bad, right, wrong, and different, because really that's going to help me to really kind of formulate where we are. Some people will be far over this side, and then I'll kind of be able to figure out where we've been, where we're at. So I don't see a lot of weaknesses. What I see is opportunity, and I said that initially when I met with the board. That you can look at it and go, oh, this is wrong, and everything is not right and where it needs to be. Okay, well, sure, we can look at it that way, but what does it mean? Then there's an opportunity for us to fix it, to change it, to make it better, to make it stronger, to improve. And so that's what I see. I see tremendous opportunity. So in terms of weakness, I wouldn't really say a lot of weakness. I see a lot of opportunity for us to provide a better chamber for this community.
There you go. Well, I think that pretty much sums it up. Thank you so much.
No, thank you
very much. Good luck with
much.
everything.
Come back anytime.
Come back anytime. We certainly will. And we want to wish you the best of luck, and to tell all your members and prospective members, come down, meet you personally.
Absolutely.
Because you are
an open door. Come on.
You're a sponge, and you want to learn. So
That's
there you
right.
go. Thanks so much.
Hey, thank you.